Hello everyone, I hope you're doing great. Today we are going to have our fourth video about our conversation activity series, and we will be especially focusing on personality traits and characteristics. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The terminal objective is just asking our students a set of questions, and they should be able to answer our questions in an argumentative way by providing us reasons. They are basically expected to state clearly their mood. They should be able to talk about their personal mood, their emotions, their impression about other people, the people who are around them. They have to talk about moral values, and they should give reasons why they like or dislike someone. So these are basically the major topics our students are expected to be able to talk about. In order to achieve this, we will have some range of grammar and vocabulary, topic related vocabulary. In terms of grammar, we have descriptive language. As always, we have a set of adjectives for talking about characteristics. So we have descriptive language, and as always, since the characters are normally facts, true about people, so then we have to use present simple. We have adverbs of frequency. These adverbs especially focus on the frequency of those adjectives. For example, I'm always there for you. So this expression means that I'm always ready to help, or I am supportive whenever you want. So adverbs of frequency, we mainly focus on always and whenever. We have some topic related vocabulary. So basically, if you search on internet, you can find a lot of useful podcasts and videos about personal features and traits and characteristics. So we have expressions of morality. A virtuous person is somehow, let's say, a religious person who is really focusing on what is good, what is moral. A kind person is someone who is really nice, let's say, generous person who has no reserve, granting money to other people, helping other people financially. Selfless is a person who always prioritizes other people instead of focusing on themselves at first. Approachable people are, let's say, people who are always smiling at you whenever they see you. Unfriendly is probably the same. So these are positive adjectives. The contrary to virtuous could be considered as immoral. Kind could be unkind. Sometimes you can refer to it as nasty, a person who is grumpy, doesn't really interested in a speaking, having kind of conversation. You always feel uncomfortable to talk to them. The contrary of generous is stingy, a person who is really reluctant to give money to other people without anything in return. Selfless is, let's say, the contrary to selfish. We have approachable. The opposite of approachable is grumpy, a person who is always in a bad mood, doesn't really like to laugh, smile at you whenever they engage with you. And the opposite of friendly is obviously unfriendly. Expressions of perseverance, we have hardworking, a person who works really hard. We have perseverant, the same thing, determined, a person who has the will to succeed, has determination. Diligent, the same thing, a person who is hardworking. Industrious, a person who works really hard in an industry, in a job, in a profession. Studious is a person who, let's say, a kind of a student who studies hard. So the same thing as industrious, diligent, hardworking, but studious is normally for studies, for students. And ambitious is a person who has a lot of, let's say, wish for becoming powerful, successful, wealthy. So this is called ambitious. And the feeling they have inside is called ambition. Expression of nervousness, we have anxious. Extreme anxiety results in a person becoming anxious. Frantic, a person who is not having control, maybe extremely nervous. Restless, depressed, uneasy, uncomfortable, tense. These are all vocabulary that you can use in order to express uneasiness, in order to express unrest. So now let's go for some expressions. She is always there for me, or he is always there for me. It means basically the person is supportive, or she's a helping hand. A helping hand is an expression, means the person is helpful. Or he's on the nerve. He's on the nerve is an expression meaning that the person really makes us angry. Or paddling like a swan. Paddling like a swan, it means you try to pretend to be calm and comfortable, everything is under control. However, inside you are let's say, paddling like a swan. You are frantically paddling. You are nervously striving to succeed. You are trying really hard, even helplessly. So it shows a contrast between what you show off and what you are inside. This is a kind of contrast between what you really are and what you try to show you are. She's a born leader, so she's a leader, absolutely clear. A born leader, it means she is so competent in her job as if she was born a leader. So a born leader, it means ultimately competent leader in a special field. She's a strong-willed. Strong-willed means determined, really, with a will of steel. And the contrast would be weak-willed. A weak-willed person is a person who has no determination, who is idle, who is not really willing to move. A wicked sense of humor means a person who is very funny. Just wicked is intensifying the degree of, let's say, humoristic character of that person. He's a go-getter. He is determined to go and get whatever he wants. He is an enterprising person. The same thing. It means if he decides, he determines, he does, and he achieves. So this is the meaning of go-getter or enterprising person. She's a social butterfly. Basically, this expression refers to a young lady who tries to hang out with friends, spend time socializing with other people, especially, for example, at nightclubs, having fun, throwing parties. So these types of behavior is considered as a social butterfly. So with this knowledge, now let's go and think about organizing our course program. So before attending the class, we will provide some videos for our students. We will ask them to watch these videos in advance, and I think they are absolutely useful. This is far from being comprehensive. This topic, personality traits and characteristics, are quite famous, and you can find a lot of useful videos throughout the internet. The first one is a video containing some templates for talking about people, very useful. The second and third one are a couple videos adding to the range of vocabulary we have for personality descriptions. Both of them are quite useful. The third one is quite long, I think about an hour and a half, which is absolutely a must for people who have free time to spend. After working on videos, once students participate in the class, since they have watched those videos, I think they would not have a lot of difficulty for the warm-up activity. As always, we provide them some worksheets. We will ask them to provide some examples or definitions for these concepts. Expressions of morality, we have seen them in previous slides: virtuous, kind, generous, selfless, approachable, friendly, etc. Expressions of perseverance, so hardworking, perseverant, determined, diligent, industrious, studious, ambitious, etc. We have seen them. So we are just going for the definitions. Laidback is essentially a person who is easygoing, so he never gets nervous. Okay. Charismatic is popular, loved by everyone, and they are really influential. If they decide to do something, probably a lot of people are going to follow them. Extrovert people are in contrast with introvert. So these people are outgoing, sociable, friendly, approachable, and introvert people in turn are shy, timid. They intend to stay inside, spend a lot of time listening to music, while extrovert people prefer to go out socializing with their friends. For example, throwing a party, dancing, drinking. So these are the types of social behavior that extrovert people have and introvert people try to avoid. Tolerant and intolerant, so these two contrastive expressions, it means that people are going to accept cultural diversity or not. A tolerant person is the one who, let's say, cherishes cultural diversity, is open to any new ideas. So especially when it comes to different cultures, different traditions. So tolerant is a person who accepts, for example, tourists. Intolerant people are those people who are stringent in terms of accepting foreign tourists with their, let's say, cultural diversity. Open-minded people, again, similar to tolerant people, are open to new ideas. Narrow-minded is quite the contrast. Frank people, honest people, direct people, and frank people, let's say these people are really honest in a way that they do not care for other people, even if they hurt their emotions, their feelings, by being honest. So it could not be always a positive, let's say, adjective. It could be also a negative one. Secretive, quite the contrary. Secretive is a person who keeps secrets, who hides his true intentions. What they do is quite different from what they think. What they express, what they say is quite different from their true intentions. So these people are secretive. Indirect people are the ones who are showing more conservative characters with regards to what they say. They do not express themselves directly. They are not frank. Frugal means a person who is going to spend just as much as needed. Money is important for frugal people. They are not really going to spend a lot of money. Quite the contrary, we have extravagance. Extravagant people are those who spend a lot of money without any regards, without any reserve. They spend much more than they are really able to afford. Optimistic people, they're positive people. They have positive ideas. They always think they can succeed. Pessimist people, on the other side, it means people who are negative. They are always thinking the negative sides of the argument. So positive people, optimistic; negative people, pessimistic. After worksheets, we will have some conversation activities. Basically, we start asking questions our students are supposed to answer. Again, this is really a short list of a much more comprehensive list that I have provided to you in the comment section below, so make sure to check them out. Copy them if you need. There is no copyright. You can use them in your classes. What interpersonal skills do you require in your career? So interpersonal skills is all about characteristics. So, for example, teamwork, team leadership, these are famous examples of interpersonal skills. Make sure to use them, to talk about them in the answer of this question. What characteristics are essential for a born leader? Again, qualities of a born leader, probably a good public speaker, a good team leader. So these are the characteristics of, let's say, successful leaders. For leadership, these are essential qualities. What characteristics are required to secure a close friendship? So what is required for friendship? Probably loyalty, etc. Do you consider yourself a good friend or a good colleague? Yes. Why? No. Why not? Etc. What characteristics are required to secure a successful marriage? Again, you have to discuss it. You have to use as many useful adjectives as possible in order to answer this question. Formative assessment. So we have, let's say, through the class assessment of our students. We do this by receiving feedback from our students. So whenever they answer questions, we try to assess them and make sure they're moving on the right track. Just make sure do not stop our students. Do not stop them in the middle of their performance. Let them finish, and once they have finished, you have time to assess and give them constructive feedback in order to improve their performance. We focus on enabling objectives. So in this course, when we are talking about personality traits, we always focus on the fact that we have to use present simple tense plus those characteristics, those adjectives related to those personality traits in order to state the character, in order to describe the overall character of people. And sometimes, if possible, we have to use adverbs of frequency in order to increase the intensity of those characteristics. And the third one, we give tips. We just describe their activity. We give them better alternatives. There is no right and wrong. We do not prescribe. We just describe better possibilities. And students are responsible for adapting those new alternatives in their own performance, in their own answer. At the end of the class, as always, we will have some homework assignments. We will provide some topic-related IELTS speaking tasks to cue cards, and we will ask our students to record themselves for about 2 minutes and send them to our colleagues at Parsian Institute for constructive feedback. So that's it. I hope you have enjoyed. Next session, we will focus on the sports and athleticism.